So you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah, you've been gone for a couple of weeks now off the podcast.
Sorry about that.
It's all good. I'm sure the people have wondered where you've been.
Yeah. So I don't know how to put it. I'm just kidding. No. So on top of me having a baby, during that maternity leave, I had an interview with what I went to school for, which is like content creation and stuff like that. And a Real Housewife from Salt Lake City reached out, gave me an interview, giving me a shot to manage her content and produce for like videos and pictures and so we're gonna probably shoot YouTube video and stuff like that.
Dope.
And, yeah, we're in the works. Well, we're talking about getting her. She was a wedding singer before.
Oh, okay,
the show, and I talked to a friend who's in broadcasting at Real Salt Lake now, and it's possible that she could sing at a Monarch game and sing the national anthem at a Real Salt Lake game.
Nice.
So it's something she would be excited about and be like, really, nervous about, but it's also fun.
Yeah, that's super cool, man, and that's awesome because that's what you went to school for.
Yeah.
So you're finally getting to apply what you learned in school and stuff like that into a real life situation. And that goes to show the power of marketing too, man, or networking, I should say, not marketing, but networking. Yeah. You know people who know people, and then you never know what those people are going to get you involved in.
Exactly.
So that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm not the one to, always network, but when I do, and I just super appreciate anybody who even from doing this and stuff like that, meeting friends again and stuff, and connecting, it's awesome.
That's true, and it's cool because I know exactly what you mean. There's people who've reached out to me since we've been doing these episodes, and some of them I haven't really talked to in a while. We'll say hi in passing, but now I'm talking to them and stuff, and they're like, dude, it's interesting, or I really like what you're doing, it's really cool that you're doing this. And so I just really appreciate that too, and it really opens up those channels of communication with ourselves and others and things. So that's dope, dude. That's really cool. But we're glad to have you back.
Yeah, and thank you for everybody else holding it down. Serge, Adam for sure. I saw the episodes; they were good. So I've been keeping up.
Awesome.
So what do you got for today?
It's Sunday. Most people are probably watching football, so I won't have a guest on today.
Okay.
But I'm just glad that you're back, man, because Adam's been doing a great job, holding it down with me and stuff. Sergio contributing and stuff like that too while you've been gone. It's been really cool to have people to support and help contribute to this and keep the ship afloat, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
But a few things that I wanted to cover since you've been gone that I know that me and you can talk about, especially because the way we grew up. It's the South Park, dude. The new South Park episodes. Have you seen that? The specials?
I did see it. It was good.
Both of them are great. So both of them have come out between the time that you haven't returned and now that you're returning. Yeah. And I think they're genius, dude. Hilarious. And me and you have touched on this in earlier podcasts. Yeah. But just how much of an impact that show made on our childhood and our comedy and the friends even that we made because of watching that show and showing people that show. Dude, I remember the first time we got the tapes.
Yeah, so I think I was 8 years old. I was in third grade. I remember the blue house we were in and stuff. And Mom, got us I think it was a DVD set though. It was at Hollywood Connection, Hollywood Video.
Oh, Hollywood Video.
Hollywood Video. And I don't know if she knew what she was buying, but she did it once we started watching it. She thought, what the hell? But then, there was way more than just comedy in there. There was a lot of social, cues and stuff like that, and just topics that you wouldn't even think to, talk about at that age.
Yeah, it's true. It's layered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think really good comedy is layered. I was just thinking about this because I knew we were going to kind of talk about, especially South Park today.
Yeah.
But just because I love comedy, right? And the layers of comedy, there's reactional comedy where it's something that gets an immediate reaction from the people that are watching it, and that's where you get the quote unquote slapstick comedy, where somebody slips and falls or something happens in a funny moment. It's a reactional comedy, right? And then you got situational comedies where they're putting people or characters in situations that are funny because it's out of the element of that character, right?
Yeah.
And then you have like intellectual comedy where you have to understand a little bit about what they're talking about to find it funny. And South Park has always been like that culmination.
The referencing has just always been on point, always been like popular and up to date. Was there anything when you watched it when you were young that kind of like you were uncomfortable with? Because like I know I was heavily religious and like it showed Jesus and Satan in like a boxing match, and I was like, man, why are they talking about Jesus like this? Why are they? But then like getting older and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, well, why you can talk about this stuff. But like me, I was super uncomfortable with it, but I watched it and I was like,
right. I think you always had that sense of as a kid watching it, you're like, oh my god, am I gonna go to hell?
Am I supposed to be watching this?
How many Hail Marys do I have to say after seeing this episode?
No, I was just that was a good episode too, though.
Classic episode.
And then Damien.
Yeah. Do you go back and watch those old episodes? When was the last time you watched some of the old episodes?
I saw like Weight Gain 3000 or something like that, like a year ago or something, and it's so funny.
They're even funnier.
Like it's quotable. Yeah, it is even funnier now that you get stuff now.
Now that you understand a little bit more of the jokes, and you're an adult now, and you go back and watch it, and you're like, oh my god, these guys were genius.
Yeah, because when you're young, like you could quote something and you know it's funny, but then when you're older, you get nuances and stuff like that, and then you're just like, it's always good to go back and reference
stuff.
Yeah,
dude, I remember when we started watching it, because like you said, Mom got the tapes for us. They're actually the VHS tapes before I got the DVDs. Okay. It was that old because it was like 98, I think, 99.
Yeah, it was 98.
Yeah, so. I remember like showing it to friends and stuff, and we would quote the stuff at school, and this was way before anybody in school, like teachers and faculty, would know what that kind of content was, because things were still kind of wholesome, in the 90s, because they didn't have like this wave of the internet where you can find anything and see anything, and like a viral video, a video goes viral now, even the teachers are going to know of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But back then, they didn't know what we were saying.
Blockbusters. I think Shrek maybe came out, and not even everybody went and seen Shrek. Like, so that, and there's stuff hidden in Shrek that's funny. Yeah. But it's like people weren't as aware as things that are today.
Right. They weren't, I guess, culturally aware, because it's pop culture. So culturally aware with pop culture. Yeah. And so we would quote things from the show, and we would know it was from South Park, and the teachers wouldn't know what the heck we were talking about. As long as we weren't swearing, even though some of us, especially at recess, would do that. You know what I mean? But dude, this recent post-COVID special thing that they're doing, I laughed my freaking ass off, bro.
They're grown up now. It's like it. Or whatever. Like,
where they come back to town because COVID is like.
The Alexa, where she's like, they're like in a relationship with Alexa now. She like looks like a wife or something. Right. He has to like agree with her and stuff, and like gets her to always calm down, like a real relationship. It's funny.
It's hilarious. The nuance that the creators and the writers on that show are able to do, and for this many years, I was telling Lauren, I was like, this show has been on for 20 plus years, and they're still writing good content with cultural nuances and stuff like that are relevant and people will find funny. Like when Butters started talking about and selling NFTs, I was dying.
So funny. and what they say on there is like true and stuff, because with the NFTs is like, if I believe it's valuable and you believe it's valuable, then they believe it's valuable, then we make money and get freaking rich. It's so true. But like there's moments in everything, right? Like say Mortal Kombat, say South Park, like where it dips and like people just don't even really care about it. Or they just aren't, they don't have the same enthusiasm or something like that, and it's not as good for a moment, but then it comes back and like they just come harder, and so I think that always happens. But South Park is on their game right now.
They're on their game right now. They're back on their game. And because there's always dips, and that's just the way it goes when you create something. It's going to be hot, and then it's going to start to dwindle, and only the real like.
Do you think it's only the perception of people like they want to it's just because it's not cool anymore? Like I think we talked about Pokemon, or it's just the product is kind of changed from what it was, so like they just because like they only do like 7 days to air or something, so maybe sometimes they just rushed it so much where they didn't put a lot in some of the seasons or episodes or something. I don't know.
It could be, and a lot of those guys that, because like the creators, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, they've had other stuff they've done too. They've done movies, they've done video games.
Have always been great too.
So they've always got their their webs casted in different areas, right? And so it probably does dilute the main product a little bit, because they're focusing on other things at certain times, right? But I think a lot of it does play to what you're saying, the popularity. Like anything becomes popular at first, and then it starts to dwindle in the public eye, right? And then just the people who really, really loved it are still focusing on it, and then eventually circles back and becomes a big thing again.
That's true.
That's like the trend of almost all
everything.
things.
Everything.
Yeah. It reminds me of music. So like I remember talking to a friend of mine from high school, and we were discussing music, because this was when like YMCMB was like first out and stuff like that. Yeah. And I was like, man, can you think about all the fucking money we've invested into these music companies and these labels and stuff like that? I was like, because when we were young, it was all about Death Row, you know what I mean? Yeah. And everything Death Row, and then people who like Bad Boy, you know what I mean? And then there was the No Limit Records thing, and people got behind that, sort of buying it up. And then there was like G-Unit, and it just keeps going on and evolving. And then I was like, and then now we got this, and who knows what's going to be in 5 years. And he was of the mindset at that time. He's like, nah, this is going to stay. Yeah, it's going to stick around forever, you know, because it was riding the wave. Yeah. And then every wave crashes, and then it goes back into the tide, you know what I mean, to become either bigger wave or a different wave.
Yeah, unless they're just absolutely huge, like Drake or something. Like he's, been on top since 2010 or something like that.
Yeah,
yep. And so there's definitely always exceptions to rules.
Yep.
But yeah, most of the time, it's usually just the waves, like for 4 to 6 years or something.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. It's and that's why they call it waves, you know, because it changes with the tide, changes with the seasons and stuff. Then there's those transcendent people like Drake, like, Michael Jackson even, who was famous forever.
And still
still is, even after his death.
He just gets better and better.
He just gets better and better, as it ages like fine wine, baby. I think a lot of the artists that are popular now and that are gaining popularity, there's a few that I think are gonna stick around for a long time. I really think Doja Cat is gonna stick around for a long time.
Yeah, the way she's going, and like, it's like creativity, right? If you're like creative, and you could like Kanye too, like he didn't stick to the old Kanye, like he always reinvented himself, always did
changing it up,
and like that's kind of what you have to do. People have to either hate it or love it, but like you have to change with the times, or change for the better, or change because if people expect only one thing from you, then like I don't know. You could just be put in a box and just, you're only that.
Only that. And you're not going to go past
your
that.
Audience. Yeah. So you have to like do different things.
And there's even people who do that well. Yeah. There's even people who stick in that box well, and they're so good at that box that they can make it off of that, off of that platform still.
Like when we talk about music, I always like independent artists and stuff, underground. So Hobson was like my favorite, and probably still is, but yeah, he made the analogy like he is like a mom and pop restaurant that makes good ass fried chicken. Yeah. He's like, you want to come to my place and have a good nice meal and stuff, but he's like, I'm not KFC though. I'm not a chain. Yeah. People don't know me like that. But I mean, he makes a lot of money too, just from like touring, or like people buying and being a cult following. Yeah. And I like that. I respect that. But I mean, also people just want to be famous and want to be in the limelight. So,
that's true. It's just where your passions are pursued, right? Yeah. So I think most people, because the public eye is so focused on the big stars, they get focused on that, and they're like, that's where I want to be. You know what I mean? But it's not their passion. Maybe their passion isn't to be extremely famous, right? Like they want the stuff that comes with the fame, right? But they're focusing on the wrong things. They need to find out what they're passionate about and then follow that passion. And that's like what Hobson seems like he has done, right? Yeah, he has a passion for the music he makes, so he just pursued that passion.
Yeah, not saying he doesn't want to be big, or he didn't want to be
big. If it happened, it would have happened as a result of him pursuing his passion. Where like even Eminem or Drake, any of those transcendent artists, they had the passion but also the talent. It was just the perfect storm. Yeah, you know what I mean? Perfect team. Yeah, and stuff the perfect marketing. Yep, and like perfect accumulation of things happen for them to be that person, right? But they're still passionate about it. There's different ways. There's different, not even levels, but there's different outlooks of success. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you love what you're doing, and what you love doing is paying you in return too from the love you're giving it, monetarily or whatever you get from it, then that's a perceived success too. Yeah.
So since we've been doing the podcast and stuff, you've been telling me like you've been writing jokes and stuff like that. Yeah. So would you want to do like a stand-up thing or something? That?
Yeah. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah. Check it out. Okay.
I'm used to speaking in front of people.
Because there's a Netflix. So there's a Netflix show. It's kind of like The New Real World or something. Okay. But there's a guy on there. And he looks like a regular guy, which I think this is the new thing. Regular is the new thing. But anyways, he went and did stand-up in Austin, Texas. Like they showed clips of other people before him, and they they did well, and then they showed like almost his whole a minute set or whatever. It's probably 5 minutes, but yeah. And like he didn't land any jokes.
Really?
And then he went back to the apartment, and he just like trashed his room. Like that's the most embarrassing moment of my life. Like, dude, it was amazing. But like that was funny. Him going to the room and trashing it.
That is
like,
funny.
Yeah, not the jokes and stuff like that. But yeah, it's still comedy within the. But no, I'm just saying like so if you wanted to try something, I say just pursue it. And I don't know what you want out of it, but like I don't know, it just seems like a good experience.
And just to do it, just to do it and see if it works out. Because I had mentioned on the last recording I did with Adam, you don't know if you have courage unless there's a presence of fear. You know what I mean? Exactly. And you're only going to know that about yourself if you put yourself in those positions where you're fearful. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you have to have some kind of nerves or some kind. If you're not nervous, then you're not ready. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have the nerves or the jitters, you're not ready. You haven't prepared yourself for this moment. You're just doing it. Okay. And you probably don't even have, the emotions necessary behind it to make it a good thing. If you don't have that nervousness, you know what I mean? I like that. Because anybody like you ever read about, see about, or anything like that, they'll tell you, in the big ones I was nervous. The big fight I was nervous. The big game I was nervous. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just watched that Tom Brady. He has a docuseries right now. It's called The Man in the Stadium. Yeah. And he recaps and goes over in chronological order all of his Super Bowls. So not just the wins, but the losses too.
That's good.
And he talks about how nervous he was, right? Yeah. And he's like, everybody just thinks I'm cool, calm Tom. You know what I mean? He's like, but underneath, I'm nervous because this matters to me. Yeah. And if it didn't matter to him, he probably wouldn't be as successful as he is. True.
But I don't know. That's true. Because who isn't going to be nervous? I know Mayweather is like, I don't get nervous, and I kind of believe him, even though I know he probably does a little bit. But he's so much experience. Nothing replaces experience. Right. Like when you do something over and over and over again, like no matter what, you're gonna get better at it. Yeah. Like there's people like on Fiverr, like who do like freelance work and stuff. Like the people who charge cheap but have like a lot of experience under their belt. Like it's just usually better than the people who are like at the premium and I believe it. Not always, but you know what I mean? There's just always something to experience. You can't replace it.
Absolutely. So, I believe it. And I think a part of Mayweather saying that he's not nervous, he's a bit of a sociopath. So he can't feel any emotion at all. He doesn't receive any joy from anything. He just does. No. He just does.
But yeah, so what else do we got? What's else been going on?
The pandemic post-COVID specials were hilarious. I was happy to talk about that. I went and seen Spider-Man. Not going to do any spoilers.
Oh yeah, I still need to see that.
Gotta go see that, even if it's this week, because it was that damn good.
Yeah. You watched the Spider-Man 3 after? Oh yeah. You just like rewatched it?
Yeah, I went back and watched Spider-Man 3, the worst Spider-Man movie ever made from the original trilogy.
And that's funny too, because it's like it could be so bad, but that's quotable and stuff. Yeah. And like so something bad could be good. Or maybe Sharknado. I don't really watch that.
I've never seen either, but people love it.
Yeah, people love it. Yeah. But I don't know.
And they made a lot of those Sharknado movies. How many have they made since the first one? Like at least 3 or 4, right? Or maybe I don't even know, maybe more.
What about Machete? Is that like what would you consider that? Is that bad good, or is that like just people just love it?
I love Machete because the way that it's shot is like a blaxploitation film, but for Mexicans,
that's true.
So the understanding that kind of cinematography, I love it. Yeah, you know what I mean. So I get it. Maybe people who aren't used to that cinematography and they watch it like, oh, this is corny, or this is fake. He's chopping a guy in half and the blood just sits there and squirts.
Sometimes like Quentin Tarantino movies and stuff like that, or they could have those moments too. But like Kill Bill and stuff, amazing. But,
great movies.
Yeah.
Machete was great. I wish they would make at least one more of those movies because the sequel was hilarious.
Oh, it's hard. Was hilarious. It's probably hard for me to get into it, but if I watched it, I'm sure it'd be like, oh, this ain't bad.
Yeah. When those movies were coming out, well, I can't remember if it was the first one when it came out or if it was coming up on the second one being released. Yeah. But Danny Trejo, who plays Machete, he was at a restaurant in Salt Lake City, and I got to meet him.
A small guy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. He was small. He's probably like 5'6", 5'7", I would say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so and I'm about 5'10" or so he's not too much smaller than me, but he was smaller than I expected. Because he's a movie star. Yeah. And I'm like, see him on the big screen, and he's looks so tall and big and tough guy every role he plays, right? Yeah. But it was cool because like we went and sat down. It was me, our cousin, and our uncle and dad, and we were sitting there at a table, and I seen him, and I was like, "Oh, that's Machete." And they're like, "What? No, it's not." You know.
Did you remember from Machete, or did you remember like Blood and Blood Out more?
Oh yeah, from Blood and Blood Out. You know, Geronimo, he played in Blood and Blood Out, and of course he's been in every freaking Mexican movie you could think of. That's American.
I think
Mexican
from that
movie.
moment he got even in more roles and stuff like that, more famous.
Yeah, because like Once Upon a Time Mexico, he was in that. Like I think he was in the. I don't know if he was in the Desperado movies too. He was in the Desperado movies.
Was.
Yeah. So dude, he's been in films forever. You know. But I'd seen him and I was like, that's him. And they were like, oh, what? No way. And he was like with his crew or whatever. And they were praying for their food and stuff or saying the blessing for their table or whatever. And then I was like, our cousin wanted to go over there right away. And I was like, well, let's wait till he's done eating. And we'll eat too. And then we'll go afterwards. It'll probably be more respectable. Yeah. And so we went over there and he took a picture with us and stuff. But it was so funny because maybe it was the nerves, but I was trying to tell him, I was trying to talk to him. Yeah. And maybe I was speaking too fast. Like, but I was like, yo, like as I was trying to tell, I was like, I just respect everything you do, and like, you know, being a Mexican American and being on film and stuff like that and representing. Yeah. And he just kind of like, he was like sitting there and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna be at the Sandbar later. You should come by. And I wasn't 21 yet. Yeah. And I was like, or was I barely turning 21? I can't remember. I was like, oh, you know, I wouldn't be able to make. He's all, oh, I'll also be at Castle of Chaos. Come by, I'll get you some tickets. Like, but he didn't hear anything I was trying to say to like.
No. Yeah, sometimes when
you're props.
I'm learning too now. Like, kind of when people are in promoter mode. Yeah. Like they have to like kind of just play that part and like promote because that's what like they're kind of getting paid or whatever to do.
Bring people to the place.
Yeah, but no, because like as a fan, like if you want to meet somebody or something and you want to like tell them how much they mean to you or whatever, give them their props. Yeah, sometimes it probably falls flat or something, or not as good as you want or you hoped.
I think that I was just thinking about this as you were talking. I think the best thing to understand and perceive is that it's a big deal for you, right? Yeah. But they probably get this all the time, so you got to come in with an energy of like a little bit like lower energy, not like, oh my god, it's so and so, because they were like, okay, I get this all the time, and they don't know if it's real or fake, because they get it all the time,
dude. Like,
they get it all the time. So you have to come with like a energy of like gratitude, like I'm so grateful to meet this person and stuff. You don't have to say that, the things we tell ourselves in our minds, our body reacts to those words, right? So it's important that self-talk is so important. So if you have that attitude, like, oh my god, this is my favorite artist or my favorite musician, my favorite, whatever it is, you have that if you see them, you have that attitude of, oh, I'm so grateful to be here to yourself, right? I'm so grateful to be here and I'm grateful to see this person. Then you have a different level of energy, and then you can go up and they might perceive you a little bit better or receive you a little bit better, you know what I mean? Because like I said, if you're coming at them with high energy, they get that all the time, and so they're probably like, oh fuck, I don't know if this is real or not. Like, here's another fanatic, you know what I mean? So that's at that time I didn't know this, but now if I meet Donnie Trejo, it'd be different.
That's true. No, because you probably did have pure intentions and stuff, and that's awesome. But what was I gonna say? Like with the Hobson thing, he likes people who just regular and like come to him as who you are. Yeah. And like I think girls, I've heard this too. Girls, that's why they don't like nice guys and stuff like that, because put this in.
It's all good.
No, okay, sorry. But girls, I've heard that they don't like nice guys, or if you're being too nice to them or something. They can't read you. They think like, oh, he wants something from me or something, so I can't, gauge. But like, I've always just kind of been a nice person. I'm not saying I'm the best in the world, because I probably, I wanted to sleep with them at one point either too. But no. But I don't even know.
I think I get where you're going.
No,
I think I get where you're going. But it's true.
But also going to these events and stuff like that with like, I'd say a reality TV star, right, or whatnot. Like I've seen that in person. Like somebody's like, like I've heard them because I'm doing the film photography and stuff, but she's not my favorite or something like that, but like then they go and see, oh, you're my favorite, and that, and it's just like,
dude, there's a lot of phoniness too, and because it's because people feel like they have to be that. Like, that's exactly. They feel like that's what the stars want. You know what I mean? I gotta stroke the ego. So they'll like me. But no. Really, they just want to know who you are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like that movie Anger Management. I just want to know who you are.
I'm a nice guy.
Don't tell me characteristics. It's a simple question. Who are you?
Don't tell me what you do. I want to know who you are. But I don't know.
But that's cool that you're getting that experience and stuff. and seeing that and understanding it, you know, and getting a bit broader perspective of it, you know, because you don't know that life unless you're in that life or you're seeing somebody in that life, you know, and so it's really important, and that's cool that you're doing that and helping this person create content for their social media and stuff.
Yeah, well, I look at it as her helping me for sure, and then so just please watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It's a good. I've watched it. That's why I saw it. Her look for the help and stuff, and I reached out, and so I was a fan first before just applying. But yeah, no, it's great. Follow her page, and just support. Like she's all like. I don't know how much in detail because we're probably going to end up signing like an NDA and stuff like that, but I don't have one yet.
Right.
But no, she's an amazing person. That's like who I want my daughter to be like. Like she's just, I don't know. Some people just have, things about them that you just qualities.
Yeah.
That's what I look for, qualities. I don't, that's why I labeled this Rich at Heart because, doesn't matter, just the characteristics and you as a person. That's what I look for.
Yeah.
And she's amazing.
That's dope.
And her daughter too, like her family is like,
that's so
amazing
cool.
people.
Because you always wonder,
Yeah.
So that's really cool to know that you're getting this, like I guess somewhat personal eye of a certain person, right? It's on TV and stuff. You get to know who she really is, because you always wonder, like, especially reality TV, like reality TV shows that we grew up in that era where they exploded, right? And so we were the first people to see reality TV. And now, like, it's the main thing. Like, networks want reality shows. Yeah. And vlogs too. Like, vlogs are a kind of like a reality show.
It is.
YouTube vlogs and stuff. And you always wonder, like, is that person that way just because the cameras are on? Yeah. And when the cameras are off, how are they really? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's cool to know that this person is genuine and a real person. That's really cool. That makes me feel a lot better about watching the show.
But of course, you gotta turn it up a little bit too.
Oh yeah,
so like if you did stand up,
right.
You have to turn it up. Like like how I I like to do music sometimes, and you
just
have to
dial
turn
it up.
Yeah,
you dial up the energy.
Yeah. And you could dial it up too much because like we went to this last show and I screamed too hard, and they didn't turn the mics up all the way, so like I was screaming for people to hear me, and it was bad.
Oh, you guys were at the show?
Yeah, at the show.
Blocko and them?
Yeah. But no, it was still fun. And then shout out to our cousin. He got a little too drunk and a little too belligerent.
It happens to all of us.
All right, yeah.
Happens to the best of us. Dude, there's so many times I've been like knocked out drunk, like on my feet knocked out. Yeah. Don't even remember anything.
What, was you just trying to fight people?
There's been times like that too. The liquor gets in you, get charged. I remember one time, actually Adam would remember this. Hopefully when he sees this he laughs. Yeah. But I had gone out with some friends from work, right? Yeah. And I got drunk, bro. Like I was with a good friend of mine from Salt Lake, came down, and this was her first time seeing like my friends out here. Yeah. And I got fucking hammered. Like I got way too drunk, way too fast. Yeah. And we ended up at Denny's, and I couldn't remember much of anything from the Denny's trip. But I remember getting home, and my friend DK was like, bro, you need to calm down. You need to chill out. I got you home. And this is the last thing I remember. I was like, he's like, what do you mean? He's like, bro, you were acting pretty crazy at Denny's. Like, chill out. Like, just rest, bro. When you wake up, I'll make you coffee and this and that, right? Yeah. And so I had gotten up, and Paul, who's been on the podcast as well, hits me up that next day, and he's like, hey, bro, get ready. We're going up to Pineview. Pineview's a reservoir up here in the Ogden area where people go to kick it in the summertime. And I was hungover, dude. Yeah. Like almost dead. You know what I mean? Just straight up. Probably all my skin color had left me. I was that that hungover. Yeah. But Paul comes. He picks me up. He's like, don't worry about it. I'll drive. Like we went and got beer. We drunk beer on the way up there so I can start feeling a little bit better. And we get there, and Adam's there. And Adam's like, oh shit, there he is. There's the fucking guy. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, it's me, it's me. Yeah. And he's like, no, dude, last night. I was like, what do you mean about last night? And he's like, are you serious? You don't fucking remember? I was like, no. He goes, Denny's? I was like, no, I don't remember anything. What? And Adam's like, dude, you went in there and you were the fucking life of the party. He goes, you were going to everybody's table. He's like, you were sitting down with people and like getting to know people and like talking to people. Yeah. He's like, but then the waiter, I guess, tried to like get me out of somebody's booth because maybe he thought I was like intruding on their meal. Yep. And I got kind of snapped on the waiter. I didn't do anything to him, and thankfully like my friends were there to stop. But I guess I kind of took it the wrong way. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? I'm trying to make friends. That's what they were telling me. Yeah. And so Adam's like, you don't don't remember that at all? Like you just like charged out of Denny's like you were a fucking I can't remember what he said. It was hilarious, but he's like, you charged out of Denny's like if they fucking got your order wrong and you were a celebrity or something. Fuck this place. Denny's is this and that. And so I don't remember any of that. And Adam was laughing, and so but that day we had at the at Pineview was awesome. You know, I got drunk again. I didn't get that drunk because we were just drinking beer. Yeah. But it was just crazy. It was kind of like a sobering moment for me to be like, damn, I need to put my drinking in check. Huh. You know what I mean? Because I was still, this was when I was like 24 maybe. Yeah. So, and you remember, I used to fucking come home hammered, dude. Yeah. Straight up, yeah.
That's just what I wonder, though. It's like, is that really you? Because, and it probably is, though. It's like, people say you're the most truthful when you're either drunk or angry or something like that. Oh, okay. But like, yeah, what do you think that is? So is that a version of you? I mean, we all have versions of us, but it's like, yeah, do you just you kind of you unleash it once because I mean, when you drink, your thought process is like probably limited, right? Yeah. So you're like only whatever first comes, first out.
So you're dissolving the conscious mind, at that point, and then your subconscious takes over. Yeah. Because we do have two minds, right? Yeah, right. We have two minds, and that's the mind that's like active right now, that's thinking, and I can utilize the conscious mind, right, to think about what I want to say and stuff like that. Yeah. When that's turned off, whether it's through drinking or whether it's through, drug use or anything, then it's just whatever's remaining in your second mind. Yeah. And in your second mind, that's where all the thoughts that you don't say are stored away. You know what I mean? So I think I mentioned this in the first episode or maybe the first two episodes, that I think people who are socially anxious, social anxiety, they're actually smart because they're storing all this information in their subconscious, the mind that only they know, right? And if they were able to, or confident enough, and there's coaches out there,
to express it, and
they'd be so smart, and people would be like, wow, this is so and so, I never knew this side of this person. That's the subconscious, bro. That's what. And so the ego was gone. Shout out to Maker's Mark, shout out to Jack Daniels. they dissolved the conscious mind, and then the subconscious just took over, where I wanted to befriend everybody, but also don't remove me from a table.
That's why I like Kanye, because I think what you just said, like, that's what he taps into and speaks from his gut and stuff. And I would like to do all that stuff too, but Dude, maybe it just takes time or practice.
It takes confidence. Yeah, that's all it takes. Like, true. It wasn't until I started to be mentored, right? Because I've had mentors. Like, I had people who I got involved with through avenue of like just pursuing making money, right? Yeah. But they're like life coaches. They've done life coaching and they apply.
Or they're good at speaking to people. Speaking at people
exactly,
too.
Yeah. And so they kind of like taught me that, hey, everybody has at least a remnant of like that persona, that superstar in them, right? It's just about having that confidence of bringing it out, True. And the conscious mind can be kind of like a two-edged sword too, because you can use the conscious mind to dumb yourself down or to downplay yourself. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh, people don't want to hear what I want to say. Even if you're not saying it aloud, you're still saying it to yourself. Ooh, so that self-talk, bro, it's critical. Yeah. The self-talk is critical, because whatever you feed yourself, your subconscious is. It was explained to me this way, and I'm glad I get to say this on the podcast, because people who watch it are going to be like, oh, cool, that's, I never knew that. Yeah. And they can research this. But it's been put into me this way, right? So the conscious mind is the filtering, right? Yeah. So you can filter in and out what you want and stuff like that. But the subconscious mind, it has no filter. Whatever it receives, it achieves. And whatever it receives, it believes, right? So if you tell yourself even a little, like, how many thoughts do we have in a day? It's like thousands of thoughts in a day, right? Yeah. If even a quarter of those thoughts are negative, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. Right. It's just like, okay, we are that. Okay, I am, I'm not as good as that. But if you were to just filter yourself and talk to yourself in a positive way, and say things about yourself that even you don't believe right now, your subconscious believes it. Right. And then eventually your subconscious is going to be like, well, you're going to be put in a situation and you're going to think to yourself, man, how am I going to do this? I don't want to do that. Your subconscious is like, actually, remember, you thought of this one time, or actually, we are this. You said so we're going to do it, and then you either succeed or you fail, but hey, you have to do it anyways.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's so important for, like, to tell kids always, like, positive things.
It's so true.
And, that's, you're supposed to smile at kids and stuff like that. And, like, because they don't have the full conscious filter. Yep. And that's good. But, it's... From what I've been
researched and have been taught and stuff, right? So from the age that a baby's born up until about 4 years old, I think, the subconscious mind's wide open. It's absorbing everything. It's just a data collector. So everything that happens to you in that age, you just get that, and then it goes into your personality through your whole life, unless you fix it.
Right.
And that's why there's so many people who never fixed that inner child, quote unquote. Right, and then they just have that like hardcore anger, or they get overly emotional about things and stuff because that's how they were at that age. But if you talk to your child in a manner where it's calm and you reassure them that everything's okay, even what they do is okay, what they think is okay at that age, then they're going to have that base program as they go through life. They don't have to restructure it, right? Although anybody can restructure their own program, I truly believe that.
People can rehabilitate. I think it's harder as you get older.
And if you want to,
from when you're born till you're 7, that's when you hardwire your programming and stuff. And then as you get older, it's kind of harder to go back into that, and you're gonna have to
exactly. So that's why it's so important to talk to kids in a way and be understanding with them. And it's one of the reasons why I kind of advocate like having kids later in life. Like, you guys have just had your first kids and you're in your 30s, early 30s, you know what I mean? But that's perfect because you guys have a lot of life experience now and you've been around kids, right? Like you have nieces, nephews and stuff like that. So you kind of, you've kind of gathered, even though, not on the surface level, but underneath you've gathered what you didn't like about some people's parentings, what you've done and what you've liked about people's parentings, and now you can apply that and apply that knowledge to your own kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's not to say though that the kids that like say my nieces and nephews, like they're good kids. Like,
they're great kids. Yeah,
I would love to have my niece or or Kim's cousins or whatever replicated because they're just good all around people. So it's like So
and it's true. And anybody, like I said, anybody can reprogram themselves.
You know
what I mean? Anybody can reset that
but
program.
It's also taking the time and
effort.
Searching the tools and like having, because some people like, and that's why I don't fault people all the time for like because people probably just give up, or they just they feel like they're in a maze or something, and they just hit a dead end and they don't want to go back and like do something else.
It's so true.
So it's like But credit to anybody who is pursuing that legitimately. Everybody's always like, taking time to myself, or, mental health. But like, some people don't really feel,
Right. And people think, it's funny to me, and I never want to like downplay or like anything, but there's people that are like, oh, I need me time, right? But the me time they use is just entertainment. They just like, I just need a distraction from life. That's not me time. Real me time is developing you, like understanding you. What do I need to do? Where am I, where's my trajectory? Like that's me time, right? And people don't do that. You know what I mean? I'd say realistically 90% of people would just be like, I'm on me time, or I'm taking a mental health break or whatever. They're just watching something, or they're doing something to entertain themselves.
I'll do that too. And it's time
okay
wasting.
to do, but it's time wasting. It's okay to do. It's not. I can't say, oh, that's bad. Like you're this or that for doing that. But you got to limit that. You know what I mean? You got to divvy up that pie of your life to things that are going to help you, things that are going to help the people around you, and then a little sliver of that pie is going to be some entertainment, and throw some whipped cream on that piece of the pie. You know what I mean? Enjoy that piece of the pie, but make it small.
Because even those things that like matter the most don't even need to take that much time. Like working out only takes an hour. It could take 20 minutes.
Right.
Like it could, so just it matters. Like it's kind of like investing. Like a little goes a long way once it compounds and stuff like that. And
so true.
It's good.
So true, dude. And that's like the thing is people need to understand that it takes little pieces that add up to the big picture. It's like a puzzle, you know what I mean? Or just sculpting. Like you look at these sculptures, right? These ancient like Greek sculptures and stuff, and we see the end result, right? We see the chiseled marble, and we're like, man, that's a masterpiece. But we weren't sitting there chiseling that shit, and it took the artist months and months and years.
Like years to do the first one, and then do another one, and do another one, and like and
perfect it.
That's exactly.
And that's exactly what it's like working on yourself, your goals, your dreams. Like it's gonna be sculpting. It's gonna be chiseling little bits at a time until the big picture is revealed. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to pop it in the microwave and it's done and it's the best meal I ever had. But that doesn't exist,
Sometimes microwave meals are good. Sometimes it's not gonna be the best for you.
The best for you,
the most nutritious. The most nutritious. Exactly.
Yep.
It's not gonna be that. But people are used to that, and like they think that is the best, like fast food and stuff like that, and that's just because before it wasn't like that, right? Like when we would, like, I don't know, people are, would you say, too spoiled or something? We don't need to go into that topic, but like, they just have so much access to them with food or with, you know, entertainment or whatever. Yeah. So it's just,
it's culture, dude. It's like culture. The culture used to be you have two or one worker in the house, right? Mom or dad. They come home, one of them cooks a meal, and it's a homemade meal, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then everybody sits at the table and eats. And then we started transitioning to both partners working to sustain the home. They don't have time to cook, so it's now ordered in.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And then also too, what I'm thinking is like, you know, you get feedback. Like back then, you get feedback from friends or people in person and stuff like that. But now you don't get really feedback. You give your own feedback and your thought bouncing off. That's true. Know, from something, perception bouncing back or something. You know, so you don't even get people's feedback or, you know, perception.
That's so
and
true.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's very true. That's valid. You know, because it's true. Like, and opinions are just opinions, right? Yeah. Like, people put too much weight on opinions as fact. Like, there's a difference, you know what I mean, between fact and opinion. Like, opinion is just somebody who has a limited experience and it's their own experience telling you what the experience is, right? Yeah. And then you either accept or reject that experience. But some people just like, oh, this person's opinion is, you know, is so valuable to me, I'm just gonna take it as truth. Yeah. But it might not be truth. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it depends on whose opinion. Like, if it's someone who's more successful than you or someone who you look up to or something like that, like, because even when I applied, like, and not to say anything to my own horn or anything, but just like, you know, I checked out your stuff, I checked out your music, and I liked it and stuff, and that meant more to me than like, you know, if anybody was to tell me anything bad, which I haven't really heard anything bad, but I haven't really, you know, had a lot of people to even give me feedback, so because maybe I'm, you know, scared of that, but I don't know, but yeah, just it depends on where you put your value into, I guess.
It's true. And successful people, for the most part, they don't give opinions. They give facts. They just give, like, this is what you got to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you ever listen to somebody like, I mean, Grant Cardone is a well-known one. You know what I mean? I listen to some of his stuff, but he's like, you know, I don't give opinions. I give you what you got to do. Like, I give you a blueprint. You know, I'm not going to give you my opinion because my opinion's worth shit. You know, I'm going to give you what I've done and what I know works so that you can do it and replicate it.
Yeah. So, and then also, like, with blueprints and stuff like that, like, there's not only one blueprint. Like, just like solving an equation, you're gonna solve it in, you know, different ways and stuff like that, and still get the result that you.
That's where the phrase "thinking outside the box" comes from. Yeah. Right, because like somebody's built this like box and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, look, this is how you achieve success," right? But then somebody else looked at that box and they were like, okay, I can see the parts that move because you know what you did, but what if I actually move this part and put it over here, and then I attach this wire to this, and boom, they streamlined it. True. That's thinking outside of the box, right? And that's where that phrase came from. Yeah. So.
And I love phrases and stuff like that. Like, just it just boils everything down to like an equation, which is like so useful.
It's about the application of the knowledge you receive. You know what I mean? Because you could be the most knowledgeable person in the world, but if you don't apply it, like, you just, I think that's you just know, you should know a bunch of stuff for no reason. Yeah. Like, could you imagine if Bruce Lee never actually did kung fu? Like, he just learned about it. Yeah. Like, he just took his time learning and like
or he didn't put himself out there enough to like, you know, show people how just, you know, incredible he was and stuff like that.
He just like kicked back and just like read and watched other masters and stuff, and he had all this knowledge and just died with it, never showed us all he can do. That's true. You know what I mean? And there might be somebody out there.
There's a lot of people, there's people probably who do that, and then they don't show it. So that's why probably YouTube is important and stuff, to show your passion, because it's like you have to have some passion if you're, you know, if you know about this stuff, and you know, to teach, like and to inspire. That's the biggest compliment and stuff. Yeah,
dude, YouTube, the internet in general, is valuable, right? And it's viable, right? It's viable for everything today. Like, I've learned how to cook on YouTube. You know, I've learned how to cook meals. That's true. Yeah, I've learned how to do so much stuff. I did like
a pasta sauce, and it came out okay. It was a little too roasted, but it was good. Yeah. And it's probably more healthy and everything. Yeah.
And think about that. Like, before YouTube and before the internet, you'd have to know somebody to teach you that. Yeah. Or, you know, you could go out and buy a book or something. But some people aren't those type of learners. There's some people who are visual learners and people who are instructional learners and stuff like that, right? So back then you had to either go to a class, if there was one. If you're in a small town, there's probably not going to be a class, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like big cities, there's probably a class on every block at that time to teach you how to cook, right? Yeah. Or you had to get a cookbook, or you had to know somebody who knew the recipe. Yeah. Now you could just like, what do I feel like doing today? Or what do I feel like eating today? Or I got a car I need to repair. You know, remember how many times we've looked at all of our car repairs, because we do it ourselves with our dad. Yeah. We look it up, we watch the YouTube video, and we're like, oh, okay, let's try that. And then we just do exactly what they did, and boom, it's right then and there, you know?
Yeah, that is amazing.
It is. Technology is amazing.
Whose physique did you like the most? Because I always liked Bruce Lee's physique the most. And but like, you know, just the lean and small. Right.
But powerful.
Yeah, powerful.
That Cobra. He had like that freaking. Yeah. Cobra lats.
And we don't need to get into. But Mayweather. I like his physique too. But whose physique did you look up to? Are you gonna work out this upcoming New Year's and stuff? Like that?
So
I'm trying to get a pass. Yeah.
I've been going to the gym.
Yeah,
I've been going to the gym. So I want to get. I'll do it more and stuff. Because I've been going like 3 days a week, and I want to go like 4 to 5 days a week. So I just got to do it. Got to commit and do it.
Yeah, because I feel like that's where my confidence comes from when I'm like in physical good standing.
Yeah.
Like once I do that, I could walk different. I could, I feel like I know I could probably like flex, like you know, just like being regular, but it's not real. Yeah. And I have to like actually get the pump and feel it and like walk that way.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true because it does bring you a sense of self-confidence and like just makes you feel better. I feel better when I work out. Like I feel better when I'm feeling my body grow, you know what I mean? Okay. And I've always been that way even since I was young, but I think really because I loved professional wrestling so much, I liked like I wanted to be a big dude. I wanted to be a big like a pro wrestler, right? Okay. I would say like looking at like Scott Steiner, if you guys remember Scott Steiner,
he's huge.
But I would look at him and I'd be like, holy shit, like that guy's a fucking chiseled.
His bicep
was like had a bicep.
It was oval. Yeah, it wasn't like
even The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, but early Rock, right? Okay. Now, like, he's massive, dude. He's probably one of the biggest guys on earth, right? Yeah. But even early Rock, like, he just was built. Like, you could tell, like, if I look at this dude, he's an intimidating guy. Yeah. And he had the same kind of, like, you know, mocha color skin as me. So I would be like, oh, I could look like that, you know? So I was like, those are physiques that I would be like, damn, I want to look like that, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, but I think it's important to work out.
Yeah, because it's not just physical, it's mental.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people don't realize or don't get is that what you do to your body reflects your mind too, right? So not only your thinking mind, right? Yeah. You feel better, and so you're going to perceive yourself better, have better self-talk, but also your overall body in general. It doesn't break down as fast. Yeah. You know what I mean? As you get older, you're able to do things and stuff like that, where if you don't take care of your body, it's not going to take care of you when you get older. Yeah. One of the best phrases I ever learned from one of my mentors, or I ever heard from one of my mentors, and I can't remember where he got it from, but it's, you want to treat your food like medicine before you're eating medicine like food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's true.
So if you're not eating right and you're not at least conscious of overeating and stuff like that, eventually you're going to be put on medication to help you with that, and now the medication's your food. Yep. You know, so that was one of the best phrases I ever heard in my life, and I was like, holy shit, he's right. So, so speaking of physiques and sports and stuff like that, dude, did you watch any of the highlights from the Jake Paul?
Okay, so just from Instagram, people sending the messages, like Darren Williams, like just beast.
He just bullied Frank Gore.
I gotta see the highlights of it because Frank Gore. I heard he fought back and he did good, but Darren just dropped him. Like, dude, that was like
Darren Williams.
He looks better than like. Some of these like professional boxers, like he just ran through a big ass dude, Frank Gore. What was he, a running back?
Yeah, he was running back in the NFL. Dude.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome. And he's been training a lot, I guess, Darren Williams. Yeah. So I seen he had an interview.
And he's dating like someone we know from out here, right?
From out here.
And then her brother, who was a good friend of ours, he was always into boxing and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just a line. It's just a line. Yeah, but no, he's
life coming full circle.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, he had the blonde hair like him, and he's fighting like crazy. So I don't know. It's just funny. Interesting.
That is interesting. It is crazy to think about how full circle that has come. That's what you mentioned, but
6 degrees separation,
6 degrees separation, what do they call it?
What did you see when you saw that highlight? What did you think?
So when I saw it, I was like, damn, like Darren Williams, is still in good shape. I mean, he's only 37 years old, so he probably could even still play ball if he wanted to, right? True. But I seen an interview, so it was leading up to this fight, right? Yeah. And he was talking about how he's been training for boxing. Mm-hmm. Like that's his new passion. Yeah. So he stopped playing in the NBA, and he was done with his basketball career. It's kind of putting that to the side. And he's like, I needed something else to do, so he took up boxing. Yeah. And so he's been boxing for a couple of years, but just hasn't had a fight. Yeah. So he's been training, and he just showed it. So all that preparation and mental toughness, that he had from the NBA going into boxing, it shows.
That right hand, he looked like a monster, dude. That was awesome.
So hopefully he gets some more celebrity fights and stuff.
Yeah, and then I just saw the it was Jake Paul, right?
Yeah, Jake
Paul, and then Tyron Woodley.
Tyron Woodley.
Yeah. So yeah, there was that knockout. It wasn't even knocked down. He just knocked him out cold.
Knocked him out.
I didn't see the whole fight, but yeah, it just seemed like they were just, they were both a little tired or something. Yeah. And then he just put his, he didn't even...
Well, you know what the thing is?
Yeah. So he put his guard down, and then he just gave him everything.
Everything he had in that right hand.
No, but he feinted him. He did everything he was supposed to do. He acted like he was going to go to the body, faked with the left, and then went over with the right. And just...
He could box. Jake Paul can box.
Yeah, he could box.
Here's the thing, too. So I had seen on Twitter, one of the people I follow on Twitter, they reposted it, and she was like, oh, y'all can't tell this is fake? And it's like, it's not fake. Just because...
Nobody's going to get knocked out like that.
And here's the thing. So Tyron Woodley is a MMA fighter, mixed martial artist, right? Yep. Every mixed martial artist I've seen try to box, including Conor McGregor, they don't know how to box. No. So in mixed martial arts, whether it's UFC, whatever, right? Mixed martial arts is a sport. You're trained to continually try to block everything. So you got to block low. You got to block low. You know what I mean? So your arms are constantly moving. Yeah. In boxing, you have to keep them right here. Yeah. You know what I mean? When you throw, you come back right here and you're moving your head. MMA fighters don't do that. Yeah. What Tyron Woodley did is he was fighting and then he came back to that MMA stance and he did one of these. If you look at the knockout, he did one of these. Yeah,
he put it down like he was gonna. Yeah.
So he was if he was in an MMA fight, that's just his training, right? Yeah. His the subconscious mind took over. So he was like, okay, I'm in a fight, and it was already in the later rounds too. Yeah. And Jake Paul, being a good, he's a good fighter. I mean, he's a YouTuber.
Yeah,
people give him shit. People give him shit, especially when I even gave him shit when it first started. Like, this is a fucking circus. But dude, he's taking the craft serious.
If you can knock a grown man out like that, and especially someone who's been in a fight game and stuff like that, is not boxing, right? But still,
in a professional fight game,
give him some credit.
Got to give him some credit, and he did everything that you said. He fainted, and if you watch the whole fight, because people just watch that clip and like, oh, it looks fake because he dropped his hand. He's an MMA fighter, first of all, but secondly, the whole fight, Jake was leading up to landing something. He had several right hands that he landed, and it's because he was fainting. He was going to the body. He was faking to the body. It's the one you don't see
all the time.
So he got Tyron in a rhythm of thinking, okay, he's going to do the same thing he did. He's going to go to the body, go up high. I'm going to just protect that. Yeah. But Jake's like, nope, right hand coming at you. Boom. And it's the one you don't see that gets you every time. Yeah. But that was awesome to see that, like a knockout. I really want to see Jake Paul now fight somebody like in boxing. Yeah. Like either an older boxer or somebody in boxing, right? Yeah. Or a Diaz brother, because I heard that one of the Diaz brothers from UFC wants to fight him. Yeah. And I want to see that because they can throw.
I'll watch it too, yeah.
Because those Diaz brothers can throw. And I think they have a little bit more better boxing.
They do. But either with MMA, it's like you throw the looping, but or you throw arm punches. Yeah. But you have to put your body into it and your hips and everything. But
yeah, the way boxing is, you're using your whole bottom part to generate power to your shoulders, and in MMA it's not like that. So it's different.
Moments.
There's moments where you do that, but it's not.
I think boxing's still a gentleman's sport. Yeah. MMA, it's cool, but
it's brutal.
Yeah. I don't know. I appreciate boxing for some reason.
What about the Amanda Nunes last weekend?
I don't know anything about it.
Dude, Amanda Nunes lost. Amanda Nunes, UFC. No. Holy shit. Okay, so she's been like the new Ronda Rousey pretty much, right? Yeah. Demolishing
I've seen her fight division, and stuff
and she lost her fight to an underdog, and it was pretty much it was the biggest loss for a champion since Rousey and what was that girl that beat Holly Holm? Yeah. It was like the biggest upset since that. Yeah. And the girl dropped her and she stunned her, right? Standing up. Yeah. Beat Amanda Nunes standing up, and then did this half-ass rear naked, and Amanda just tapped out. Dang. And everybody was like, holy shit, Amanda Nunes is done and this and that. But
that's awesome. It's good. I don't know. You always want to have somebody who you follow and they're always on top. Mm-hmm. But you could always get overthrown and stuff like that.
In sports, you're never always on top. Yeah. You're never always on top.
Unless you're Mayweather. I'm sure. But I mean,
you have your moments in the sunshine, and then you're always going to have your fall, right? Unless you're Mayweather. Got to give him the credit there.
Oh my gosh, my train of thought. It's like I have it, and then I feel like people who watch this, they know when it leaves me or something like that. I'm ready to say something, and then it just leaves. But no, did you ever watch sports science and stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
Where they did those, they had the fake human body, and they'd hit them and stuff to puncture them. And so they said a woman's when they throw a punch that it actually hit technically it hits harder than a man's because they have more velocity because
it's coming at you faster.
Yeah, faster.
Yeah.
Even though, obviously if you get hit by a dude, but yeah. So that always stuck with me and stuff, just the velocity of it and stuff. So
that makes sense.
Women fights are pretty cool.
Brutal. Women fights, I've seen more knockouts in women fights than I've seen in a lot of male fights. Well,
really?
Unless it's heavyweights. Okay. Like heavyweight, anything, like UFC heavyweight boxing, is because everybody's skeleton structure is the same. Mm-hmm. It's just some people have more muscle mass or more fat mass than others, right? Mm-hmm. But like genetically, if you look at pretty much everybody's skeleton, it's pretty. If it's a male, it's the same. If it's a female, they have the same skeleton, right? Okay. And so the brain's encased in the same layer of bone, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody has. So when it's heavyweights, you're getting hit with a huge pound of force, and if it strikes that brain, it's turned off. You're done. You know what I mean? Yeah. But in lower weights, that goes away because you're able to sustain more because there's not as much pounds per pressure coming at you. Yep. But with females, because they are smaller, you see a lot more knockouts, and it's probably because like you said, that velocity of their punches are faster. And so when they get caught, they're just out. Like you see, if you looked up female boxing highlights or female boxing KO highlights and MMA, you'd see a lot more than the guys. And brutal ones, like they just straight up fall out, like fold. It's craziness, dude.
Yeah, it's entertaining to say the least.
And it's crazy. Human beings have been entertained by that type of combat sports for years. Probably even before we got out of the African sub-Sahara. We were probably fighting and stuff in a circle.
It's always been like it's I don't know what the word for tribalistic or something or ritualistic. I don't know because it's like when there's a fight, everybody gets in a circle and just watches. Yep. Like that's just
it's part of human nature. It's part of human nature.
I always wonder if we're ever gonna break out of these things or not like that. But you think it's always gonna be there?
I mean, I think eventually, probably it'll get a little bit less like why are we doing this or more of like. This is really hurting people, like because you even hear even Jake Paul had said in an interview that he feels like his speech is more slurred than it was 10 years ago, and his memory is foggy more so than it was 10 years ago.
That's true.
It is true. Yeah, it's very true. And so I think the science behind it eventually, people are going to stop doing it. Maybe people will stop doing it and stuff like that, and it'll become less and less of a thing. But I mean, shit. While it's here, I enjoy it. And I think it's just our animal. It's just our animal nature, our human nature that sees it and is like, oh hell yeah, I want to see that.
It's like I think because it's like I wanted to get into too. This might be a segue to like because you said people got to be in other people's shoes, right? Yeah. And I think that's hard for people to do. Like you could be in someone's shoes, but you have to walk in somebody's shoes, right? Yeah. Because. Like I think everybody on Earth should get in a fight just to see,
at one time.
Yeah.
Not at the same time. Everybody just throwing down at this. I'm just
at the same time. That'd be awesome. But no, just to to feel what it's like. Yeah. Because it's humbling. Like if you get in a fight or you get in a boxing match, or sparring, whatever, it's humbling, dude. Like. Yeah. You know what you're hitting somebody with, what you're getting hit with and stuff like that. Like that's why after, they respect each other more and they build up the fight and stuff. Yeah. But no, it's camaraderie afterwards. Yeah. Like and sometimes it's like that with war and stuff, but no, everybody needs to get in a fight just to like test themselves, prove themselves and to like, just go through it and they can realize, what they're doing and what
and where you stand.
Done. Yeah, what gets done.
Yeah. It's so true because I think about like the fights I've gotten into in my life and stuff like that. Yeah. Right. And you don't forget them. Like it's in your brain.
Oh yeah.
You can even sometimes it comes at you randomly. If you're not in control of your thoughts. Yeah. You think about when you hit that person. Okay. Or when they hit you. You know what I mean?
You're just trying to dodge.
No, it's just yeah. You think you play you replay it right. Yeah. And then it just sticks with you. Okay. But it also teaches you a lot about yourself. Yeah. And I've wrestled, but I never like boxed like in a setting like you have, where you've actually been in like across the corner from somebody come in and you box them and stuff. And that kind of stuff like really tells you a lot about yourself and that person you're fighting.
But even like when we did as kids and stuff, that's still the same thing too. So it's like I think at any age, any level or something. But like, cause bullies, right? Cause it's like they probably been picked on or something from a different source or something, and then they do that to somebody else. But it's like, no, you have to have somebody who's competitive or better than you, and like, you know, actually get in, you know, a fight or you know, box them or something, whatever it is, and like, you know, then you'll see, you know, how you
get humbled.
Up. Exactly.
Yeah,
like,
you get humbled.
Yeah.
I was just thinking randomly when you were talking about that, but do you ever think about this other side of the story? So like the fights you've won, right? Whether it's street fights or whatever, and you know you won them, but do you think about the other side, like how do they perceive the loss? How do they perceive losing to you?
Yeah, no, I do think about that, because like, and I hate to say this too, but like whenever I like go into boxing or box and stuff like that, like if it's a white person, like I do not go easy on them at all. And I'm not saying that, you know, in a bad way or anything like that, but like I know like there's it's called Flash Academy in Salt Lake, great academy, great teacher, great promotion, everything. There's this white kid that hung out with like Mexicans and stuff, and like I don't know, I just turned it on him and stuff like that, and like I knocked his eyes back, and like I felt bad because like, but the trainer was like, the trainer was like, oh, that's how you're supposed to be, that's what you should do, but like after the fact, I was like, I felt bad, but in the moment, I was like, dude, I'll you know,
I'm better.
I'll hurt this guy, yeah. But and that's the way you're supposed to be with everybody, and because there's been times where I boxed Mexicans in that gym too, and like I'd be like, you know, I don't want to go, you know, but they fucking, you know, hit me in my jaw and made my shit hurt for, you know, so when it's a fight or when it's, you know, you gotta go all out.
You gotta go all out, and it's more respect for that person for you to give your all to.
Yeah,
like I always felt that way in anything I did competitive, right? Yeah. If I'm not giving this person my all, I'm not respecting them.
Okay.
You know, so you gotta give that person your everything, so that you know at the end of the day, you guys did your all.
That's the perfect way to put it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's only times like where I played like my nephew or something like that, where you pull back a little bit, and you know, and you pull your shot, you know, whatever. But yeah, if you're going against somebody and it's competition, you owe that person to give them your best.
That's true.
You know, and so that's why it's so important for like sports and anything competitive, because you can really get competitive in anything. You know. Yeah. To be there, like you have to have that competition to know a lot about yourself.
True.
Whether it's an internal competition and, you know, or it's an agreed upon competition, you got to have that competition.
So you're coaching your son's basketball team?
Yeah.
Are you going to instill that early?
Are
you gonna just let them have fun?
I want them to have fun, and it's 5th grade, right? Okay. So I just came with the mindset that like I know how to play ball, and so what I'm gonna do is just teach them the game, and not teach them like, oh, this is what you got to do to win, or this is, you know, these are the plays, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just gonna teach them how to play. Yeah. Because a lot of these kids this is their only level of basketball they're ever gonna play. Okay. I remember being told that, right, in high school. Mm-hmm. So we were playing. And I think it was on the team that we were on, and the coach or somebody was like, this may be it. This may be the highest level of competition in basketball that you ever experience. Yeah. So you want to treat it just like that. Be in the moment and like enjoy it, right? Because you may not ever play this kind of basketball again.
That's true.
And so these kids, I'm sure there's a lot of them that are not going to pursue basketball. They're just doing this because their parents signed them up, right? Yeah. But while they're here, I want them to feel like they were a part of basketball. Yeah. Because even at the lowest level, right? Even at the lowest level, playing just regular recreational basketball on a team, you are now in a fraternity of everybody who's ever played basketball. Because not every kid in the world is going to play basketball.
Dang,
you know what I mean?
You're putting all that pressure on them.
No, but they just this is where I'm coming from for them to understand, right? I'm not going to tell them this or anything. You know, I'm like, look, guys,
long lineage.
It's long lineage, but it's just the perception and the mindset that you got to bring to things, right? Yeah. So these guys are now in a fraternity of anybody who's ever picked up the ball, dribbled the ball, shot the ball. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because not everybody in the world has done that. It's hard for people to understand or perceive that, because in the American culture that we're in, basketball is a part of the culture. You know what I mean? But there's people in other countries who don't even have basketball. You know, they don't have recreational basketball at that. True. So it's important for them to kind of like understand, like, okay, or me to understand about them, like this is going to be maybe it. Mm-hmm. You know, they'll think about this for the rest of their lives, or at least one time in their life they're gonna be like, remember I was on that team and that kid, he passed the ball to me and, you know, made me feel good about myself or whatever. Or the coach never yelled at me, you know what I mean? I've had coaches that, you know, would yell at me because I can't shoot, but this one coach was like, hey, it's all good, you're at least putting in the effort.
Do you think
know what
you're
I mean?
Gonna slip up and be like, God, this fucking kid every time?
I have some good self-restraint now. I mean, 10 years ago maybe. You know what I'm saying? 10 years ago, you gotta pass the ball, Jimmy. do you know how to play basketball? Take the ball to his arms.
Tell the parents, sit down. Hey, don't talk to my son that way.
Well, maybe if you talk to him more this way, he wouldn't be how he is.
Yeah. And,
it's gonna be fun though.
That sounds cool. Yeah. If I get a chance, I'll try to go and assist or something. But yeah, it sounds cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be super dope. The first practice we had, I just had them do like the basics, you know?
Yeah.
Just dribble drills and like pivot drills and just run cuts and stuff like that. Because most of them, I asked them when we got started, how many of you have played basketball? How many of you have played in the recreational league? Yeah. And they all have. So I was like, okay, so they have some sense of the game.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I'm taking them through these drills. And then one of the dads was like, I'll help you, like, you know, because I can see it's hard because, like, all these guys, they're all little kids, you know, they're between, I think, 9 and 10 years old.
Yeah.
And so getting them to round up and get in line for drills without talking or playing around is a little tough by just myself, you know. So he was like, I'll help you, you know, if you need it, I'll help you out. I was like, yeah, anytime, like, step in and help me at least just instruct them on where to be during the drill, you know.
Do you remember where you were at, like, when, say, like, a certain age and stuff like that, or do you just kind of generalize? Because, like, I'll, you know, if I remember, I'll remember and be like, oh, I remember this and that, but if I don't, I'll, you know,
Yeah, I mean, there's some things that I remember dead set, like the day, you know what I mean, or what age I was and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's some things I just generalize, like, oh, you know, maybe I was between about 7 or 8 years old, 7 or 9 years old, you know?
Because I'm thinking, like, because I know I always, like, you know, a friend would tell me jokes and stuff, and, like, you know, I wouldn't take it serious and stuff. If I was on a team at that point and stuff. But no, I was pretty serious back then. But yeah, I think I would have done all right.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I loved all things sports. We both did. You know, we grew up in especially the neighborhood we grew up in. Like that was the only thing to do was go out and play football with the boys or play basketball with the boys, soccer, anything. You know, to go and get that energy out and so it was always competitive too. It was always serious. Like, that's the thing too. I think about like especially like urban culture, right? Like whether you're Hispanic or you're African American. Like that was part of growing up. Yeah, is being competitive.
It is,
you know,
and people actually had skills. Yeah, like not to say that other cultures don't and stuff, but like they actually had skills.
So you were playing at a high level even at a young age. You know what's funny? This just recalled a memory to me. What was I doing? I was doing something in sports, right? And I was talking to this guy who grew up in like a you know suburban area, right? White guy. Yeah. And he was like. Oh, I was working at this job up there by Weber State. Yeah. And he was like, so where are you from? I was like, I'm from here. I'm from Ogden, you know. And he's like, dude, he's like, did you ever play this? Did you ever play that? I was like, yeah, I played in like, you know, recreational leagues or whatever. He goes, man, dude, because he played like into the college level. He was going into the college level to play, I think, football or something. Yeah. And he was like, you know, the thing is, he's like, a lot of those kids, when we'd play the inner city school kids, they were all talented. He goes, they all had crazy athleticism and stuff like that. Yeah. He's like, but just their environment got in the way. He's like the ones that were really good, they started like, you know, gangbanging or they just started like hustling and they didn't want to play sports anymore. Or they get
with a girl and stuff like that. And,
and he's like, and the only difference is that we didn't have those distractions. So I was dedicated to doing, you know, what I was passionate about.
That's interesting.
And he was like open about it. I was like, that's so true. Yeah. And I always thought about that. I was like, damn, that's so true. Because even I remember when I was volunteering in high school to coach, like we coached a team. Sergio actually helped me coach that team, and our other friend Chris. Yeah. We coached a little flag football team, and all those kids on that team were super athletic. You know, they were dope athletes and stuff. But half of them now, because they're in their 20s now, they've been in and out of jail. You know what I mean? They're in the system. They're doing things like that. So it's just it sucks because we grow up in this environment where a lot of us are athletic, right? In the Hispanic and African American community, there's a lot of people who are athletic. We just that's how we're built, right? It's our genetics. And then the culture around us, the environment around us takes us away from that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Or do you think, like, because you're around so much talent and stuff or whatever, you think, like, I'm not as good or this won't last as much?
Maybe.
Because...
Maybe to an extent. Maybe to an extent that is there. But I think more so it's that the environment takes you away from it, right? And if it didn't, you know, you'd be good. You'd be in one of the top places. But possible. Also on the same side of that coin, right? The other side of that coin is the guys that, you know, don't get involved in the environment going around them and they do pursue athletics. They're usually the best ones. They're usually the best ones, and it's because they didn't let the distractions happen, and they end up becoming
100% focused,
they end up becoming the best ones.
But like I think of like Tank, you know, Gervonta Davis, like he definitely could have been, you know, went left, or Adrian Broner, like he like was facing a charge for life and stuff like that. So definitely, you know, could have easily,
right.
you know,
went the other way.
Yeah, went the other way. But I don't know. I just wonder on like other levels too. But, yeah, it was good.
That's great.
Yeah. But yeah, let's wrap it up. What else we got? What else we got?
I mean, yeah, we can wrap it up. It was just good to have you back. It really was.
And I want to talk more about what is going on, stuff like that. I don't know if we'll do it now, but like tomorrow, this won't be out. But anyways, we're doing like live Q&As about the show and stuff. So, you know, just
for sure
watch the shows, do a Q&A. I'm going to be interviewing. It's kind of like doing a podcast, I feel like, because it's like, you know, say you give a question and I'll ask him and we'll talk about it or something. So, so live it's kind of like podcasting, but not with our name.
Yeah. And when those episodes air on Sundays?
Sundays, yeah.
Okay.
And then you can watch it on Bravo TV. There, you can get the app or the website. Yeah. And then you can just watch it for free when it drops and stuff like that. And yeah, I think it's like Yellowstone is on the same network and stuff. And like,
really?
I don't know, Jimmy. That's what I think. Like when I say Bravo TV, like it's definitely a network.
So is it under like NBC's branch?
I don't know. I don't know all that stuff, but I just like, because when they talk to people, they're like, yeah, you know, Jimmy Fallon's on after and stuff, which is, it's like a big, you know, obviously people know what the Real Housewives are, but for it to be in Salt Lake City, like this is their second season. I've watched the first one, and this one, she's like the newest member and stuff, and I don't know, I want her to do great. I just want the show to do great. You know, we got to support it. Hopefully people in the city and the state support each other. And
heck yeah, that's the thing is we're not going to grow together unless we go together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to make sure that if somebody's doing something from here, we have to elevate it so that it can be seen, you know, because we're only what's the saying, what is it? You can only see new horizons by standing on the shoulders of giants. Right? Yeah. So you gotta find those people who've done things, stand on their shoulders to see a new horizon, and then you're the next giant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's very true.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. But yeah, all right. Thanks, dude. It's good to see you. Good to be here. Hopefully,
good to have you back.
Not so awkward, but all right, we'll end it.
Everybody's used to it.
Yeah, everybody knows. Okay.